Hello and welcome to MS and Nothingness. I'm Paul Lima. I have MS. MS, multiple sclerosis. Jean-Paul Sartre, the French existentialist and philosopher, wrote Being in Nothingness. I suspect if he had MS, he would have written MS and Nothingness. I have MS. I talk about MS. Samuel Beckett, the Irish novelist and playwright, wrote Waiting for Godot. If he had MS, I suspect he would have written Waiting for the Cure. I have MS. I'm waiting for the cure. It's not anything I expect to see in my lifetime. I certainly hope it comes and can help those who have MS who are younger than I am. Leonard Cohen, the Canadian poet, singer, songwriter, wrote Ain't No Cure for Love. If he had MS, I suspect he would have written There Ain't No Cure for MS, because there ain't no cure for MS. There's a little bit of help, but there ain't no cure. Just like Godot never showed up in Waiting for Godot, there ain't no cure for MS. I know I'm being philosophical about the disease. It's something I have. It's something that 100,000 other Canadians have. It's something that a million Americans have. It's something that something like 2.5 million people in the world have. There are suggested medications and diets that may ease the burden of MS somewhat. I belong to an MS support group, and all the people who are there have various degrees of burdens. Some are on some medications, some are following some diets. What we have in common is MS. The medications and or diets may postpone the time between exacerbations or MS hits. Perhaps it might weaken them. But the hits are still there. The hits keep on coming, and there ain't no cure. There just ain't no cure for MS. Now, this video blog or vlog or whatever they call it is called MS and Nothingness. Not everybody who has MS has nothing. In fact, far from it. I know a lot of people who have MS who are quite vital. Whether you have MS or not, life is what you make of it. And they are vital because they make as much as they can of their lives. All the hits that those of us who have MS are different. We all have different symptoms. Within those symptoms, what can you do? How can you be? It's just there are days. And yeah, I know everybody has days. It's just that when you have MS or any other chronic illness, I'm not saying people with MS are special. Oh, we're special. We have MS. Anybody who's ill and feels like crap, you combine that feeling with those days. There are days when it feels like you have nothing. Even doing this, I enjoy making these vlogs, video blogs, but it feels different. When I wasn't sick, if I had the technology that's allowing me to do this, I would have found other things to do and I would have been excited by them. Now I do this because it's one of the few things that I can do. And I have had a lot of positive feedback on my video blogs. People have told me how much it helps them. And that makes me feel good. It makes me feel like somethingness, I suppose, as opposed to nothingness. So I'm doing what I can do. This is what I can do. This is what I can make of life. So this is what I do, even though I have MS. I have my symptoms. When I was first diagnosed with MS, it wasn't MS, it was a clinically isolated syndrome. I had one hit or exacerbation. To have MS, you have to have multiple hits. Once you have multiple hits, you may be diagnosed with something called relapsing remitting MS. That's where the hits come and go. And that's what I had for, I don't know, a dozen years or so. The hits would come, I'd feel like crap. The hits would go, I'd feel okay, I'd get on with life. I have now moved into the next phase of MS. Some of us move into it, not all of us. Secondary progressive MS. The hits come and stay. I have headaches. I am sitting here looking normal, or as normal as a 65-year-old guy can look. What you don't see is what's going on inside. You don't see the headaches. You don't see my legs weakening. You don't see my balance going. Now, if you saw me out walking my dog, you'd see me with a cane and you'd think, oh, I wonder if Paul has a knee injury or back injury or something like that. Now I have MS, and the cane is like my security blanket. I lean on it. It keeps me upright. Hey, it could be worse. And I'm not comparing myself to anybody else who has MS, but people with primary progressive MS, it just gets worse and worse over time. You get from walking with a cane, moving on a scooter, moving on a wheelchair, getting in and out of the wheelchair to the point where they can no longer do that and they have to have somebody come and lift them to put them to bed. Life is what you make of it, and we are all dealt different hands, and we have to play the hands we're dealt. Sorry, I get a little emotional on occasion when talking about MS, as I suspect anybody talking about anything that's not going right for them would get. So people with MS don't have to have nothing. You can have something within your limitations, but then you get people with MS who have partners. What are they dealing with? What do they have to say? These are excerpts from my book, Everything You Need to Know About MS, and I'll tell you a little bit about the book later. A healthy person, a healthy partner of an MS warrior said, "We just couldn't do what we used to do together. And my wife just seemed to be getting sicker and sicker. So sadly, we split up. She's with family now, and I support her financially, but there just wasn't a solid relationship to hold together any longer." That happens a lot to people who have MS. Their partners leave them. I could blame them. I could say, and I have blamed them in other video blogs, in sickness and in health, for better or for worse. And I have to say, my wife is absolutely terrific and supportive. But sadly, for a lot of people, their partners leave them. A healthy person just can't deal with the sick person. I don't want to blame them. I won't blame them. On my bad days, I do blame them. So what else do people who are healthy partners of MS warriors say? I am currently in a relationship with someone who has MS. There are good days and then there are difficult days. Sorry for the typo. We love each other, so we are battling through the bad times together. Our future is something that is uncertain. That we know. But day to day, we more or less are doing okay. I'm not saying it's easy for me, but compared to what she is going through, I guess I have it easy. It just doesn't feel that way because MS has changed our relationship and what we can and cannot do together and what she can and cannot do. And I have to pick up the slack. So when you have MS, okay, you don't have nothingness, but you have less. There's less you can do. And when you're with a healthy partner and they can do all these things that you can't do, it's tough. It's difficult. You have to deal with it as best you can. What other choice do you have other than to deal with it? I guess we are more used to the strange issues he has to deal with. He is less depressed about his fatigue and mobility issues, and I do more around the house. He works from home, but has had to cut back on the work he does, and that's something I know. I've had to cut way back on the work I do. In fact, I'm 65. I think MS has caused me to be retired. Anyway, this is not about me. This is what a healthy partner is saying. That has hit our income, the cutbacks. But we have made financial adjustments, and I continue to work, which is not a problem, although I have much more to do around the house and I get tired. I'm not comparing my getting tired to his fatigue. Thank you for that. You understand the difference. But there are times I sure could use a good long break from what we are doing, from what we are dealing with. There is a difference between tiredness and fatigue. I have had bouts of fatigue, especially early on with my MS. But yeah, the healthy partners of MS warriors get tired of picking up the slack. They either leave you or they pick up the slack. And kudos to those who work hard to pick up the slack. My husband was diagnosed with PPMS, primary progressive MS, about 15 years ago. It's been gut-wrenchingly sad to watch him go from walking to using a cane to using a scooter to needing a wheelchair to get around. Some days I think my husband is dealing with his MS better than I am, even though he had to leave his job. He didn't go on long-term disability. Excuse me. It's been a challenge for us, but we've adjusted as best we can. I could pause this and stop, but I just want you to know I feel for those of you who live with people who have MS and who support us. Thank you. Thank you so much. I can't read the rest of this. Can't even see it. You can read it. What I had before MS, I had Paulima.com, the right words on time and on budget. I was a freelance writer, freelance trainer, loved my work. I've been a writer for 40 years, freelancer for 25 years. I love doing what I can do. And I've had MS for 22 years. But initially, I would have the hits and then they would go away. I could continue to work. I can't anymore. And hey, I'm 65, so I'm retired. I still have my website up there. That's because I have created some webinars that you can take anytime. They pay what you can. I don't even care if people take them and don't pay. Many people have taken them and have paid me small bits of money, but it sort of helps support my retirement. Of course, the webinars are on writing and the business of freelance writing, so you have to be interested in that to take them. But I also have some free webinars, and these talks are up there. If you go to paulima.com, you can click on it and you can see the webinars I offer. And hey, if you want to take a webinar just to see what they're like and not pay, I don't care. I really don't. I offer e-courses through my website, stuff I can do, because I can sit in front of the computer and I can type. I do the occasional, once every 2 or 3 months, training webinar. I can no longer train in person. I could not stand in front of a group of people and talk. I used to do half day, full day, 2-day workshops. I can't do that anymore. And I sell my books. I'll talk a little bit about my books in a moment. So the website is worth having. It supplements in a small way my retirement. People with MS are missing aspects of life, and it varies for all of us in terms of what we're missing, why we're missing, how we're missing. When I had RRMS, there were months when life was fine. When in remission, I could do whatever I needed to do: work, play, travel. And some of my exacerbations did not prevent me from working or doing stuff. If your exacerbation is a hit to the taste buds, as I had, you can still get things done. You might not enjoy your food, but other than that, you can do stuff. My hit to the taste buds, everything I tasted, even a glass of water, everything tasted like crap. But I could work, I could play, I could travel. For 6 months, I couldn't enjoy my food. But right now, I would exchange my headaches, my loss of balance, my weakness in my legs. I would give all that and have the hit to the taste buds again. I love eating. My wife is an excellent cook. But I don't love my condition. So give me a hit to the taste buds and take all this other crap away from me. Today there are things that I don't do anymore due to my MS. Can I do them? Some, perhaps. I'd have to dig deep and find the strength and energy to do them. I'd be uncomfortable doing them, and I'd pay for having done them. After I do this video blog, I'm going to go sit on the couch and just disappear into myself for a while, recharge my batteries. But there are many things I simply am unable to do. My wife, bless her soul, has picked up the slack around the house. I miss going out. I miss having no energy to dine out or to go to a movie. And hey, I wasn't the greatest domestic partner, but I can honestly say there are things that I didn't enjoy doing that I now miss doing. What one can and cannot do is different for each person with MS. It's different for all of us. I asked on several MS support groups what people miss since being diagnosed with MS. The replies came in fast and furious. I miss running or just moving quickly. I miss working, exercise, and generally helping people. Laying by the pool or going to the lake, the heat brings back previous flare-ups almost instantly. Some people with MS, and this happened to me early on, I couldn't take hot showers. Heat would cause exacerbations or hits. I miss going for walks. I can still walk. I walk my dog. There are people with MS who can't walk. Knitting. I can no longer knit. My left hand cramps up painfully when I hold the left needle. I miss walking with no cane. So there are people in wheelchairs, there are people on scooters, there are people who walk with canes, there are people with MS who can walk, there are people with MS who can't walk. It's different for all of us. Swimming, that's what I miss. Having the energy to do things. I used to work. Now, well, suffice it to say, I no longer work. Playing roller derby. Imagine if you were a roller derby or whatever they call them. You can no longer do that. Running with ease too. Oh, the stuff I took for granted. Yeah, that sums it up. We take life for granted. Hey, if you're healthy and watching this, don't take life for granted and don't get sick. I miss going for walks and bike rides. I personally miss bike rides. I used to ride in the spring, summer, and fall 2-3 hours on the weekends, at least an hour a day. Okay, unless it was raining. I haven't ridden my bike in a decade. It's hanging up in the garage. I keep on thinking I should take pictures of it and sell it on Kijiji. But maybe it's hanging there almost like, maybe one day you'll be able to ride me. I miss going for walks and bike rides. I miss being able to run around the playground with my daughter. Our child is 28, Unfortunately, when she was younger, I had RRMS. The hits would come, the hits would go. I could still play with her. We could do things together. If she were 7 or 8 now, I too would miss being able to run around and playing with my child. Driving, I'd be like a drug behind the wheel. I haven't driven in over 5 years now. Yeah, that would be me too. I miss my friends. Where did they all go? Friends, family of some people with MS abandoned the MS warrior. And I understand it. You can't take it. The person with MS can't do things. So you can't be with them. Makes you feel bad. Hey, we forgive you. Well, some of us do. I do. And I have friends and I have family who are really good. But there are people I don't see anymore, and that's understandable. It's understandable. If I were healthy and you were my friend and you were sick, I would like to think I'd still be your friend. I'd still come over. But I know that I would find it difficult. Anyway, I'm just going on. I miss being able to be with family without feeling like they feel sorry for me. I love that they care. I just hate feeling like I'm being pitied. And I'm not sure how to tell them that it bothers me. I'm fortunate. Friends and family that I still have, I don't feel like they pity me. I feel like they understand that I'm sick. But this is complex illness. And it is complex in terms of dealing with people and how people deal with you. I understand it. I get it. All I can say is take a deep breath. Try on both sides to be understanding. I understand that the healthy you has difficulty dealing with the sick me. Please understand that I am sick. And hey, if you can't deal with it and you need to go away, then go. But dig deep. See what you can do. See if you can deal with it. We can sit and talk. We can sit and perhaps some people with MS still drink, share a drink. I can no longer drink. I feel like I'm always drunk anyway. Anyway, dancing. This person misses dancing. Walking. The wheelchair keeps me mobile except when it snows. But oh, what I'd pay to feel my feet on the ground again. I couldn't imagine that. I'm not in a wheelchair. I can still walk. I could not imagine not having my feet on the ground. Happiness. Somebody misses. Living. People with MS miss a lot. What we miss is different for each of us with this bizarre disease. I don't moan about what I miss. Okay, sometimes I do. Today. The nice thing about this tool, Loom, that I'm using to record this video blog, is that you can pause it. You can pause it and leave the room, blow your nose, wipe your eyes, go to the bathroom. So you don't know that I've just paused this thing for about 10 minutes. But I'm back. I don't moan about what I miss. See, different tone. I miss it, but I don't moan and complain about it. Okay, sometimes I moan a little bit about it. Because pining, moaning, and complaining won't change a thing. I still try to make the most of life as it is. If you're sick, it's your job to find your new life within the limitations of your new reality. If you're sick, it's your job to find your new life within the limitations of your new reality. What else are you going to do? How else are you going to live? I'm not saying like what MS has done to you or any other illness that you may have. I'm saying don't let MS define you. Don't let MS or any illness win. Do what you can do. And I know it's difficult, and I know as we get sicker, we can do less and less. Do what you can do. What else are you going to do? Sit on the couch, curl up into a ball, and disappear? And hey, I know there are people who have MS who can not get out of the wheelchair. They have to be lifted, wheelchair to bed, bed to wheelchair. They can do less and less. That is their reality. You have no choice but to play the hand you're dealt. You have no choice but to do what you can do. I'm not saying like it. I'm saying dig deep and deal with it. Learn how to deal with it. Get help if you need psychological help, emotional help. Get help. Don't let MS define you. Don't let MS win. What I have post-MS, I have my family. And as you can see, that's me 20 years ago. That person there, wife and child, that person there has MS. He's sick. Doesn't look sick. It's inside. And the good thing is that I had the hits and then they would disappear and I could get on with life. I could enjoy my child. I could enjoy my wife. I could enjoy my work. I could enjoy the holidays. But yeah, the hits came and they'd feel bad. But then they would go. And they would go for months, sometimes even a year or more before another hit would come. That guy there has MS. Post MS, still have my wife, still have my child. Lynn is a wonderful cook. She's an amazing cook. Found this picture on my computer and decided to throw it in there. I used to do some cooking. Now I can barely stand in front of the stove and put spaghetti in boiling water. I can make myself sandwiches. Thank God Lynn is a wonderful cook, and thank God that I don't have the hit to the taste buds so I can enjoy her wonderful cooking. I have Lynn. We have our dog. That's Cole. He lived for 12 years. Beautiful, lovely dog. We now have Quinn, giant schnauzer. Guy's too big to know he's not a lap dog. I walk him every day. And the walking, I feel, is good for me. I feel like I'm lubricating my body. Just the movement is good for me. I don't want to sit on the couch. Yeah, there I am sitting on the bench. I walk him to some place where I can sit down with him, and then he sits on me. That's a unique picture. Usually he plays with his buddies and his friends, but for some reason, he jumped up, sat on me. I gave my phone to a person at the park, and I said, "Can you please take a picture of this?" Quinn keeps me healthy. I think he keeps me physically more healthy than I would be and mentally more healthy than I would be if we didn't have him. I walk him, rain or shine, snow or shine, cold weather, hot weather. He's 5.5 now. A wonderful dog. Okay, he has his quirks, but he's a overall really good dog. So what do I do? What is my somethingness as opposed to nothingness? Games, book, TV, movies. I play Words with Friends and Yahtzee with buddies on my tablet. I read crime and detective novels, some literary fiction. I don't know if this is my MS or aging, but some literary fiction, I can appreciate the writing, but feels like nothing is happening. So I have gravitated to crime detective novels where stuff happens. I do read the occasional biography and autobiography. I don't know if you can read the website. If you go to the website, sixfigurefreelancer.wordpress.com, 2014-1-0-09, if you're looking for a book to read, you'll see a list of books that I've read. I haven't updated it in the last year. but there are a list of books that I have enjoyed. Maybe you'll enjoy them too. We're in the platinum age of TV, and there's still good movies out there. And if you go to reviews, books, movies, TV shows, WordPress.com, 2016092233 must watch British TV series. You'll read about good, mostly British, but not all British TV series that we watch, and some good movies. Again, I haven't updated the list in the last year. Don't have the energy to do it, but there's a lot of good stuff on there. I think there's like 50 shows and movies on the list. So that's what I do. Games, books, TV, movies, and the occasional MS video log. And I am a writer, and I can still write. I've written everything you need to know about multiple sclerosis. It needs a little updating in the meds section, but overall, it's a good book. In terms of, I'm saying that I'm reviewing my own book. It's a good book. And if you think I'm trying to sell you my good book about MS, I'm not. I can't give you the print copy, Kobo, or Kindle copy. But if you email msandmebook@gmail.com, msandmebook@gmail.com, I can send you the PDF. No charge. I give away the PDF of the book because I can. It's an objective look about what this disease is, why it is, how it affects people, what you can, and mostly, sadly, cannot do about it, but what you can. It talks about diet, exercise, relationship, and partners of people with MS are given voice to. So if you want the free PDF, msandmebook@gmail.com, put MS PDF in the subject line, and I will send you the PDF. I've written my memoir, The Accidental Writer. Didn't know the rules of grammar, became a writer, had a vasectomy, became a dad, liked cats, became a dog lover. I guess I could have called the book The Accidental Person. You can read about it at paulima.com books. I think the introduction is online. And I'm not going to tell you the names of all my books, but if you go to paulima.com books, you'll see my book on Tell Your Story, How to Write Memoirs and Autobiography. Hey, if you're looking for a job, I've got a book on writing resumes and cover letters. If you want to write a nonfiction book, I've got a book, How to Write a Nonfiction Book in 60 Days. I've got a lot of books on writing because I am a writer, so I have written about writing, business writing, promotional writing, writing for the web, social media, etc., etc. So again, I'm not going to read you all my books, but there I am talking about how to write a nonfiction book in 60 days. That guy up there talking about his book has MS. But the hit had cleared. He was in remission. He could talk. I can't do that anymore because my hits don't go into remission. So I used to be able to do workshops, talk about my books. Can't do that anymore, except here in this webinar, because I'm sitting on my butt in front of the computer talking into the mic. I have done that, sat on my butt in front of the computer talking to the mic, and created a series of PWYC, Pay What You Can, webinars. If you go to paulima.com/PWYC, you'll see free videos as well as Pay What You Can webinars. You can take the webinar and then, hey, if you want to contribute to my retirement fund, pay me a few shekels. But just so you know, I'm not trying to sell you this. If you go to paulima.com, PWYC, and you see something that you think would be of interest to you, feel free to take it. You don't have to pay up front. Feel free to take it and then feel guilt-free to not pay me anything for it. I don't care. I do it to make a bit of money, but I have a pension now and blah, blah, blah. I'm doing what I can do. Makes me a little bit of money. It helps people. That's what I can do. That's what I do. Who knew this kid was going to grow up to be this man? Who knew this kid, healthy, happy kid, was going to grow up to be this sick, unhealthy man? But I like to think overall I've got a good attitude about my MS, about my illness. MS and nothingness, that's what I call this video blog. But it's really MS and somethingness. No matter who you are, no matter what you have, you can find something. Dig deep and find it. Play the cards you're dealt, but play them well. Bluff. Sometimes that's what you have to do. I'm sick, but friends are over. I don't know if it's adrenaline kicks in or if I'm bluffing, but I sit around and I converse and we talk. So yeah, there are days it feels like I've got MS and nothing, but I know deep in my heart I have MS and I have something. Thank you for listening and for putting up with me blubbering through this video blog. Thank you, and I hope you are as well as you can be. I really hope that for you. Thank you. Bye-bye.